Universal Veteran here again with another video, and today we are going to be live streaming some Death Guard. So I haven't live streamed in about a week or so, a little bit over that. That's just because I've been pretty busy with work and I just haven't had the motivation to actually turn on the camera and do this. But now that I'm home and ready to paint, we are going to do this today. I just want to get everything set up and make sure everything's running perfectly fine. Yeah, I think we are good. Ugh. You let me know how it is, what you think I could do better with it. Rotate it a little bit more. We'll get a little bit zoomed in. About right there, I think, should be fine. But we have a mixture of things that I'm going to be painting today. We're going to start off first with a Death Guard unit that I started working on yesterday. It's not really going to take much more. After I just need to put all of like the additional colors and whatnot on here, and then he will be pretty much done. After that, we're going to move on to a Plague Bearer that I was supposed to paint yesterday, but didn't get ahead to do it because I was super tired and ended up going to sleep early that night. But depending on how long that takes, we're going to move on to a Flesh Terror because I'm a little bit behind in terms of what I should be painting. I should actually be painting the Flesh Terror today, but because I was better late, now we gotta make up for lost time. So I'm hoping to live stream today for a couple hours. It's currently 6:40 at the moment. I'm gonna go until probably shoot for 9 o'clock. But yeah, that's what we're going to go for today. It kind of just depends on how I feel. But I do want to make an announcement today. This weekend, I'm going to be home at my house, and I have made a mission for myself to paint for 8 hours one day. I'm going to start off by painting 8 hours for either Saturday night after I get home, after I take care of my son and his meals and whatnot, or I'm going to go Sunday night or Sunday afternoon. I haven't quite decided what day I'm going to do it on, but expect at some point this weekend an 8-hour live stream of me just painting as much as I physically can, just as much as I possibly can. I have quite the backlog of paint and stuff to do. So we are going to try and get through a bulk amount this weekend. Worst case scenario, it doesn't work out and I give up after 6 hours, but it's a good starting point because eventually I want to try a 24-hour live stream, and where I just live stream the entire process of me painting as many miniatures as I possibly can. So I think 8 hours will be a good start. But for those who haven't seen, this is the guy that we're working on. He's halfway done. So we're going to start working on him now. Everything now is just to highlight the additional glowing colors for the Death Guard and whatnot, and I gotta do all the tentacles. But I'll shut up. We'll get going. Let's start working on this. So I've come to find out that the best way to paint tentacles is I like starting with Blood Angels Red. And then I like moving down through the color. So Blood Angels Red, and then I'll put like a Magos Purple contrast over top of the tentacles and the fleshy bits. That gives it that really dark necrotic feel for your Death Guard. And then from there, I will add like Volupus paint to kind of brighten up the darkness of the fleshy bits. So it gives it that mix of red for the blood, purple for the necrotic, and then pink for the more fleshy tones. And that's worked out really well for me and my painting experience with Death Guard, which I'm currently, I think, at like 40 or 50 I've painted at this point. Quite a big amount. I don't know the exact amount, but it's pretty fucking close to that. I've pretty much focused on only Death Guard over the past 2 months, and occasionally painted orcs or, flesh terrors, squigs. But for the most part, it's just been Death Guard after Death Guard after Death Guard. And with how popular they are, it's quite easy to get into. Quite easy to find models on eBay and whatnot to paint. I actually just sold Lord of Contagion because, for those who don't know, never seen my channel before, about 2 months ago, I found a Facebook bid for a guy who was selling. Oh, how's it going, Muhammad? There was a guy selling his entire Death Guard army for $200. It was literally like everything you could possibly ask for. At least $1,000 worth of stuff I got for $200. So I've been going through everything, trying to paint it all. And he just so happened to have three Lord of Contagion in his box. He played the game, but he never painted them. And I got them all. Everything, like 50 fucking Marines, like 70 Poxwalkers. I got a Hellbrute. I got 3 Blight drones. 3 Blight drones, a bunch of Terminators, and a bunch of Marines for $200. And I actually just sold one of the Lord of Contagion the other day for $150. Somebody got bought off Amazon. And I still have another one on Amazon right now that I'm trying to sell too. So if any of you are interested, you can go ahead and go buy it. But yeah, my Death Guard army is getting quite big, and I just actually bought the new, or not the new, it's the Maggot. What is it? I got the Maggot Kid of Nurgle, Age of Sigmar, and then I also purchased the Battle Force Maggot Kid of Nurgle, the Shudder Blight Cyst with the Necrotic Horse and the 4 Blight flies. What do you want to call them? So needless to say, my Nurgle force is going to be quite hefty soon. pretty fucking soon. All right. Now I finished with that. We're gonna let that dry, and we're gonna move on to the glow effect, which is one of my favorite parts to do because love it. So we're going to apply the glow effect on this plasma rifle. We're going to do a little bit of a semi-dry brush on this. Just kind of splatter it around. How's it going, Fusion? Give it that nice glow effect on the weapon. My day is going fabulous. I got off work early, got laundry done, made a sale on eBay, watching some TV, and now I'm finally painting. So I would say it's going fantastic so far. What about you? How's your day going? I wouldn't say I'm necessarily talented, man. I just started painting this January, so I'm still learning how to do it all. I mean, I'll give myself credit. I did do a good job the other day painting a model. but I'm far from, maybe on my 1000th model, I can say, you know what, I'm real good. I think it's just because I've been painting so many fucking Death Guard that I've pretty much like nailed down my painting scheme of what I want for this guy. You know, um, I've painted so fucking many. It's ridiculous. I still have, what of it? I still have 3 more Marines, 1 Terminator, 9 Plague Bearers, and then I have all the Age of Sigmar Nurgle guys to do. So quite the collection of miniatures to paint. Hopefully by the time I've painted everything, I can stop criticizing myself and say I've done good. No. This is a Warhammer 40k miniature. They're made for the tabletop game, and I've never actually played the tabletop. I enjoy the painting aspect of the hobby, but they are meant to be played in like a tabletop game fashion. That's their initial purpose. I just don't like doing that, so I use this to. My hobby is painting, so I put these together and I paint them how I want to paint them. Yeah, it's really enjoyable. I love doing stuff like this, and I've been doing it since January, so it's worked for me so far. Um, there's quite a lot of different things you can paint. You don't necessarily I don't necessarily have to paint Warhammer. It could be, anything, really. I mean, you go on Etsy and you can look up 3D printed miniatures, and there's 1,000 different options of things you can buy, from dwarves to elves to dragons to monsters to humans to pretty much anything you can think of, really. And you can paint those how you like them. I just so happen to like this Warhammer 40k, which is the primary setup for this. All right, let's. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you, Fusion. I'm going to be on here for a while. I have this guy to paint. I'll show you up close. I'm going to finish painting him. And then I have this little guy. It's a Nurgle, or a Plague Bearer. And then if I manage to get him done, I plan on moving to this guy. He's a Flesh Terror. I'm going to paint him in red and black. And then depending on how far I get with that one, and depending on how I feel, I might do another Plague Bearer. But we'll see. I'm not quite confident that I'm going to be awake to be able to do that much. But we'll definitely see how far we can get, if my phone even is alive that long. But that's what my YouTube channel is pretty much all dedicated to, is stuff like this. No, that's perfectly fine, Fusion. Don't feel obligated that you have to stay. Feel free to join whenever you can, leave whenever you want. I'm just here to have fun and share my learning experience with other people. And if somebody's able to learn something off of what I've done here, then that's all that matters, really. I'll be here for a while. Not sure when I'm going to get off, but we'll play it by ear. And I save all my streams too, so if you are interested in watching that later, feel free to do so. It'll be on my YouTube channel. See ya. But now that I've gotten the green, I'm going to add the Magos purple to all the fleshy tones. And I'm going to add this other glowing effect green that I own, which is one of my favorite, Tesseract Glow from GW. I love how this stuff looks. So just a little drop of that. All right. So I add all the tongues and extra like fleshy bits. I add the Magos purple because I originally added Blood Angels red. Blood Angels red really, really darkens it up to like a really red consistency. And then if you add Magos purple over top of that, it will darken it to more of a like necrotic, like rotting carcass, you know. Um, and then then I brighten it up again with Volupus Pink. And then the Volupus Pink will create that more realistic color spectrum. We're going to add the glow effect over this. So we add the Tesseract glow to the edges to create that glow effect. All right. Basically, this green is supposed to be used for like a glowing effect around the body and around his face. All right, let's see. All right, there we go. Look at that. I think that looks good. It gives you that darker green in the interior of the armor, and then it kind of glows outwards, if that makes sense. Now we're just going to paint his eye. I want a brighter red for this. There we go, just a little bit. Just a teeny. All right, now we're going to add a little bit of red to this, the tongue, the little glowing tongue. All right, let's see. Let's get Lupus Pink out. There we go. The Lupus Pink is the final bit for all the fleshy bits that just darkens everything. And then we also need a red for the cape. Fiston red for the cape. Don't need much, just a little bit. There we go. All right, let's do the cape a little bit while everything else is going. All right, just add the red to the cape, and then let's get the pink for the, let's brighten this up with the tentacles. All right, there we go. Now we just get a little bit of, oh shit, that's too much. Let's get a little bit of glow effect in the eye. All right. That's pretty good. Let's get, now we're going to do the horns. One of my favorite parts. We do snakebite leather, and then we get Black Templar for the horns. So we start by painting the whole horn in snakebite leather, and then once that's dry, we'll put Black Templar contrast at the top bit of the horn. It gives it that nice transition of like decaying horns, if that makes sense. All right, now we'll do the tip of the sword. All right, there we go. All right, let's see. Now we just gotta wait for all this to dry, and then we'll be good. And then we'll move on to the next color. And then we should be fine to call this one good. It's not the greatest, it's not the best looking, but, you know, he's mine, and I like him. Let's see, a little bit to his teeth. Come on, damn it. What you gonna do when they come for you? All right. Now we're just gonna wait for this to dry. So many damn colors, I swear. So after this, it's let's add a little bit of red to this. All right, now we can add the black. All right. All right, so let's see. Let me do a little bit more with the glow effect on this. All right. I think that looks pretty decent. All right. So, how's he look? Pretty good? Pretty decent? I gotta do a little bit more with this cape. And then we should call it good. I don't need to add too much. I'm gonna add some Nuln oil to this too. Where's that? Nuln oil right there. All right. All right, I think that is pretty good. I just need to add some Nuln Oil and then we should call this one good. He's a dirty boy. All right. All right. All right, that's it, boys. Just add the Nuln Oil and then we'll be good. All right, we shall call that one good. I will show you up close what it looks like. Yep, that one's done. That's one done for today. Now we're going to do a Plague Bear, which is something that I've been looking forward to. I just got to remember exactly how the guy did it on his Plague Bear's flesh. That's what I need. Actually, I want to do this green or this white one first. That's fine. Plague Bear's flesh. I need to shake the shit out of this though. Shake the fuck out of this. Okay, let's see. We're gonna do this Plague Bear. I think we just need 2 drops of it. We'll just put Plague Bear's flesh on here first. All right, let's see. Oh, fuck. All right. So now we just wait. All right. So we're gonna do two fucking plague bears at once. I want to test and see which way I like it better. After this is dry, I'm going to determine if I should paint plague bearers more in the future in the Death Guard green base coat, or if I should just continue with the Wraithbone. I'm gonna paint them both up, and then I'm gonna see how I like it, and then from there we're gonna determine. I got the original box of 10 plague bearers off of Amazon, so I've already painted one, just 2, 3, so I have 7 more to do. Based on how this comes out, I'm going to determine how I'm going to paint the remaining 7. I don't plan on. So, for those who don't really know me that well, who've never watched my channel, I like painting horde type miniatures, so orcs, these guys, plague bearers, paint a bunch of space marines in the flesh tears, keeping the same army. So the first thing that I ever painted was back in January. The first like Nurgle related thing that I ever painted was Poxwalkers, and I don't know if you've ever painted Poxwalkers. Anybody who ever has, they fucking suck. I mean, some people like them, some people enjoy them, but they fucking suck ass. I hate them. I absolutely hate them. I don't think I've hated anything more to paint than a Poxwalker. So I was really skeptical about getting these guys, and I wasn't sure if I was actually going to like painting Plague Bearers because, you know, they're pretty similar. They have a lot of poxes, they have a lot of boils, they have a lot of like extra shit. But after painting the first one, I've come to love these little guys. They're bigger than Poxwalkers because, you know, they're bigger than regular zombies. You know, they're regular demons of Nurgle, so they're going to be a lot bigger. But they're a lot more simplistic than your traditional Poxwalker. They don't have that much festering necrotic shit on their body by comparison. I can't really show you right now because I sold all of mine, to be honest. But yeah, I think I'm going to, over the course of the next year, I'm pretty confident that I'm going to paint a shit ton of these. Quite a lot. I really enjoy them. I really like painting them. So in the future, just be prepared to see a lot of these guys in my videos. Yeah, I'll probably end up getting a bunch of these models to paint, and there's so much variety with them that it's quite ridiculous. The boxes themselves come with a shit ton of variety, so you can really interchangeably change the majority of this stuff to fit your need and preference. Even this one guy, you know, while the face or the back part of it is one thing. You can interchange the stomachs and the heads and the weapons. So, yeah. Oh, I love these little fucking guys. I don't know. I just absolutely fucking love these plague bearers. Oh, if you can fucking give me fucking 100 of them, I will paint all 100 of them. Man, I'm watching it cops right now, and this dude has the biggest fucking mouth on him. Um, but this fucking this Wraithbone, I think I prefer um, over the Death Guard Green. I'm trying to. The one thing about this too is you really have to be quite careful with plague bearers because while they don't have as many as like poxes and boils as like the fucking poxwalkers, you still run into the problem to where you turn the fucking model and it's like, oops, there's a little teeny tiny boil that you forgot to get, you know. So like there's a limit to my patience when it comes to stuff like that, you know. Um, the Poxwalkers, when you paint them, they're literally, I don't know what, I'm going to stand up so you can see this. But Poxwalkers, you see these like little boils right here on his knees, his stomach, his chest, and whatnot. When you're painting Poxwalkers, these things are fucking everywhere. They're literally just covering the model, layered, overlapping one another to the point to where you can't like paint them in a way that is, I wouldn't necessarily say consistent, but it's frustrating because it's like, okay, you want to paint, let's say you do the leg, front of the leg, right? You get over 4 or 5 boils and you're like, oh, this looks good. This looks nice, you know? But then you fucking turn the model by half an inch and you realize, oh, there's 20 more fucking boils that you need to paint, you know? And it doesn't make it fun at all to do that for me, at least for me. Some people might see it differently, but I can't fucking stand stuff like that. It's like you turn the model, oh, let's continue to paint. Turn the model again, oh, you've missed something. You gotta go back and you gotta paint this, you know? And it's just so small. I don't know. I don't know how GW ever got away with Poxwalkers. They're annoying as hell, and I can't stand it. But thankfully, these guys are uniform, consistent to an extent, so don't gotta worry about that too much. I need to get a yellow out. I need to find some kind of, it's unfortunate, I don't have that many yellows in terms of like, I gotta figure out the best way to come up with like a darker yellow, because this is the darkest yellow that I have, and it's Everland Sunset. So I'm gonna try and mix some Black Legion contrast into it and see if that does anything in terms of like its consistency. It's a little bit more yellow. How does that look? Let's see. That might actually work. We'll see. I think that yellow is dark enough. Let's go over one of these boils and see how that looks. Ooh, that's pulling a little bit too much green. I don't know if you can see that. Let me zoom in a little bit so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. So I'm trying to cover the boils at the moment and make it look like pus. I need more zoom. Let me get a little bit closer. Ooh, maybe not that much. All right, so I'm trying to get like pustules, you know, so we're gonna take this boil, if you can see it. Let's add a little bit more yellow to this mixture and trying to get a little bit deeper in the color. How does that look on my camera? You really can't even tell the difference. All right, we need more yellow. Let me brush some of that off. Let's try that again. How about that? Is that a little bit better? No. Damn. All right, let's just go full blown with it and just fucking add a lot of it to it. All right, last, let's try it on a different pox, a little boil. Oh, I think that's the kicker. I think that's better. Yep, that gives it a little bit of a deeper tone to the skin color. It's not quite green, but you can definitely see the transition between the green and the yellow. So it's not so bright that it's overpowering everything else, but it's just enough to give it that you can tell this is a boil. You know, it's not like a fucking sunset, or I don't know what's something else that's super fucking bright yellow. I can't think of it at the moment. We're gonna add this around the boils too. Oops, sorry, you can't see that. So we're gonna go around the boil or the open wound to give it that like rotting yellow flesh. It's about right there. Hey, look at that. I think that looks pretty good. You know, it's not perfect, but it's definitely darker than the other one. And we'll do the same thing. We'll go around his stomach. I was going to use like Nurgle's Rot, but that's not as like dark either. There we go. I like it. All right, let's switch brushes. We're gonna wait for that to dry and move on to painting the interior of the innards. Make sure you can see this. So we add Magos Purple of the interior of all of the wounds. Um, Basically, you add Blood Angel's Red for the intestines, which darkens it up and makes it look, like intestines. But because it's so dark, you can tell that it's artificial. It's not real. So what we do is you add the Magos Purple, which then darkens it up to make it look more necrotic and more like festering inside of the wound. Like this is a corpse, it's dead. But then you also afterwards you want to brighten it up because the Magos Purple darkens it up way too much. So you want to go over it with Volupus Pink to give it that little bit of brightness that you need. Not so much to where it reverts back to that like just red feeling of it, but you want it to just pop like it's not quite dead, but it's still, a fresh fucking wound in a way. It's like transitioning between the darkest of necrotic flesh at the very, on his stomach, like in the deepest interiors, all the way up to the brightest part where the brightest of the intestines is still pink because that's not it hasn't corroded yet, if that makes sense. So we got that. Let's add, let's do his teeth. So one of my favorite ways to do the teeth is with Ryle. What is this? Sorry. Oh, I almost fucked up. Yep, let's not do that. We'll do snakebite leather on the weapon. So we just cover the entire weapon in the snakebite leather, which pretty much turns it into a dark brown. And then afterwards, I will add contrast of Black Templar on the very tips, which will create the transition of the weapon being, I like to imagine like the fucking fires of hell or something. Like the tips of it are hot and, the poisons or whatnot of Nurgle have rotted, turned the wood black, and then or the metal black. I don't know. I followed a YouTube tutorial and that was the best way that I found that I liked it. And then after you do that, I like to add let me grab it. It's this rust effect. It's called Dirty Down Rust. And I like to do just a general wash over all of it. Then it turns it into like a rusted metal. And like the very tips with the black, it's like super fucking rusted. And then let's get out the wildwood, this stuff. And I apologize if you really can't see this that well. I can zoom out a little bit, but I want you guys to be able to see the detail in full clarity. So we ain't going to do that. So we take the wildwood. We don't need a lot because this is just to go over the teeth. This is just to darken out his mouth. And since his face is pretty scully with no flesh really over it, we don't really need that much on there. And the same thing we can do with the horns too. We can add the Rylwood over top of the horns. And then just to give it that transitional effect of the Rylwood, we're going to, so it doesn't look so like just a fucking line of it, we're going to water it down a little bit around the edges and give it that blending effect. Damn it, come on. Oops, too much. Suck up a little bit of that water. Blend it a little bit. Give it a little bit of a transition between the colors so it's not just one giant fucking blob. I'm still learning, so I don't do the best when it comes with it as well. So don't mind me. This is just everything that I've learned off of a tutorial off of YouTube. So trying to explain it in the best way that I can when I'm new at this as well is quite difficult. But that's the good thing about these is I plan on painting a shit ton of plague bearers, so we have quite the opportunity to learn different ways of doing this. So if it doesn't work, well, we got fucking 30 more to do. In the same way, we're going to do a little bit of water, and then we're just going to feather in the contrast of the black, so it's not just a big blob. Whether or not it works, we'll see when it dries, won't we? All right, and then, oh fuck, that scared the shit out of me. Holy fuck. Oh, I had my window open and a fucking police car or ambulance or something just fucking flew past. God damn, give me a fucking heart attack, thank you very much. Damn, man. Alright, I gotta take off my head helmet. All right, let me zoom this out a little bit. Okay. Now, time to add the Volupus pink to the let's add a little bit of this to all right. So, what color did I paint his eye? I did purple. Of course, I did purple. All right, time to do the eyes. All right. Alright, we're trying to go around this. Now we need to get Blood for the Blood God out. My favorite color. Where the fuck is my red? Oh, it's right there. Duh. All right. Now we're going to add we're going to add blood to this guy. All right. Let's see. Now we got it. All right. There we go. Now that we've done this, we can move on to adding the uwu shit. Let me get it all out. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit. So we pull this out, the little stick, and then where's the fucking piece of wood? Oh, right here. I'm an idiot. Piece of wood, and then we get the uwu out, the good shit. And we add a little bit to the tube. So we add this to the tube, and then we take a little bit of it, and a little bit to it, and we're gonna all right, let's see. I'm gonna add a little bit of there we go. A little bit of gooey gooey goodness. All right, now, I don't like how. All right. Oh yeah, we're gonna add the ooh glue to the. All right. What the fuck? Trying to add a little bit of this fucking glue. All right, let's add. Trying to add all the extra details to this model right now. The glow effects and whatnot to it. All right. All right, so we're adding this on around the muscles and whatnot. I'm adding this glow to the Plague Bearer because I like how this looks. And then let's see how this green will react to. I'm just going to do it to the face. I'm going to get directly on the face. All right, how's that look? How's the face look? Okay? Decent? You really can't see it that much. It's all right. Pretty much I'm adding this extra green glow on like all the deepest or the strongest highlights. Let's see. We're just gonna go around his nipples. Pretty much his fucking nipples. All right, let's add some Dirty Down to this bitch. Now it's just a matter of waiting. This one's pretty much done. I know I need to do the base, but to be honest, I'm not really up for the base at the moment. Oh, fuck. All right. We're going to do a close-up so you can see him. Oh, fuck. I probably shouldn't have done so much of the red around the boils and poxes and whatnot. I think I'm gonna add a little bit of a little pupil on his eye because his eye is a little bit too red. All right, so this one's good. All right, we're going to add Plague Bearer's Flesh to this guy. And this one I'm going to do different. I'm going to add the Streaking Grime to it. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to add Streaking Grime to it right away, just because I might put the whites and everything else on first, and then we'll put the Streaking Grime on. All right, now we're just going to let this dry. And we're just going to wait for this to dry. Let's see. All right, I'm going to open up both of these while this is. We still got to wait for this to dry, but we got 2 models done today, which is 3. Well, this will be the 3rd, and then we will work on the flesh tearers. And depending on how much I get that done, we will go from there. All right, this weapon's dry, so we can move on to applying the color on. Wait. What the fuck? Damn. This fucking guy has a big ass melon for a head. Jesus Christ. This fucking guy in his head. It's like literally just all fucking bone.